Hello, everyone, and welcome to that One Time We Read Manga podcast, where we four friends decided to start reading manga together and coming here and talking about it. My name is Tim, and fun fact for me this week, I didn't like this manga. I'm just going to spoil it now. That's my fun fact. Here we go.
My name is Duncan. Fun fact for me is that I also did not like this manga.
No, you can't steal my fun fact. Come up with a new one. You have until the end of the
okay.
intro.
New fun fact is that I used to work at a Red Lobster.
Hey everybody, my name's John, and my fun fact is that I really enjoy a manga that is a split between Naruto and Pokemon.
My name's Nate, and my fun fact is, if I was a Phantom Seer, I would have the ability of the Demon of Red Lobster. So all of the nightmares Duncan's had at Red Lobster, I'd have control over.
So many nightmares.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I'm
so much
powerful.
lobster. So much lobster. What do you mean we're out of biscuits?
It smells like fish.
Bread down! If you work at Red Lobster, you'll understand
Cheddar Bay Punch.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, goodness. Well, if you couldn't tell from this punch drunk intro, we read one that no one really liked. We read Phantom Seer in its entirety. And that sounds impressive until you realize there's only 30 chapters.
For a good reason.
For a very good reason. It was serialized in Shonen Jump Weekly from August 2020 to April 2021. 30 chapters. And there's nothing else to it. It was canceled. I did a little research as to why it was canceled before we started this. Generally, the thing is, it just wasn't reaching the audience. It wasn't very popular.
Good.
And it's not easy. It's pretty easy to see why. So we read it. We decided to read it.
Sure did.
And as you can't tell from our initial introduction here, mine especially, it wasn't good. It wasn't very good. So I want to go around the room and I want to get everyone's first impressions. Starting with
I want to start with Kento.
Hey, don't just say. First of all, don't just say it was bad. Give me reasons.
Yeah, no. I have reasons.
That's what we're here to do.
Lots. Anyways, Kento Matsura, the illustrator, A+ work.
Yes.
I
Definitely.
loved the artwork. Everything else was dog shit.
Okay, so poor Togo Gatto, the actual writer.
He needs a little bit of work on his storytelling and the interactions between characters were all just kind of meh at best.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump into what my thoughts are from that, because I think you're onto it. Wow. So the problems that I had with this is, like, I think this is a great example of hopeful blue balling. Because I thought the first 5 chapters were great. Like, I was really, really looking forward to it. Now, granted, I had a little bit, I was a little bit behind everybody, so I knew that the thoughts going into it was that it wasn't good. But at the first 5 chapters, I was like, yeah, this seems pretty solid so far. Like, it's going to expand on these characters. It's going to show these cool scenes. The artwork is, as Duncan said, fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed the artwork that went into it. And then at some point between chapters 5 and the final chapter, I was just so underwhelmed with everything that happened. It was dog shit.
Yeah. Nate?
Yeah.
So, my opinion is, I feel like the end, to me, started getting good. But that's not to say that this wasn't bad. Because you have the main character, whose name is Iori, is, like, he has the ability of this giant demon. It's super cool, but then you have his personality, which is just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you're like, okay, So that kind of like takes away from the drive a little bit. But I will say what also kept me going is back to the artwork. I'm a huge fan of artwork that has like body horror, kind of like Junji Ito style stuff.
Yes.
Now this isn't like Junji, but the body horror was really good in this. And I think the end, when the last 10 chapters, you've got this stuff going on where you finally have like a group of antagonists and people have these different abilities and it's fun, but man, everything in between was just a trudgery of like, that thing's a bad thing, let's go get it. It got old real fast.
So I am going to take a combination of everyone's opinions and I'm going to put it into my own thing, where I want to start off right away by saying I agree more with Nate's side. I enjoyed the ending way more than I enjoyed the beginning and middle. The beginning, I will say I didn't hate entirely. I was intrigued. Like John said, up to those first 5 chapters, I'm like, okay, where are we going? What's happening? Who's this guy? Why has he got these awesome powers? Who's his sister? His sister, Yawai, is just this amazingly powerful being that people just do whatever she says when they say to do it. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's get into it. And then between chapter 6 and chapter 19, I'm like, who cares? None of this matters.
Yep.
I hate it all. Yep. The artwork, it was consistently good. I will say that. Definitely felt, Nate, to your point, you brought up Junji Ito. This felt like the guy wanted to be Junji Ito, but for the public. Junji Ito is a very like niche thing. Like he doesn't write for Shonen, which is a weekly magazine that everybody can find. This guy wanted to take Junji and put him into Shonen, which means it didn't work. Like, the body horror was great, but it wasn't nearly to the effect that they wanted it to be, I feel.
I think that this guy was definitely trying to ride on the coattails of something like Jujutsu Kaisen, where you're fighting these like otherworldly beings, but he also liked the body horror of Junji, but like,
yeah,
I think,
or like Parasite.
Yeah, definitely like Parasite as well. But I think it just, the storytelling and the character development just made it sluggish.
What character
It
development?
definitely felt like, well, and that's the thing. It definitely felt like every chapter we were making progress, and then we weren't. Like, every chapter ended with a little bit of progress, and let's say Iori, who had probably the most, like, form of character development. Like, we got a backstory, we got some reasons for his attitude, you know, this, that, and the other. And every time we started to make a little progress in the end of the chapter, and then next chapter, we're back to square one with him. He doesn't want to do anything. He's a lazy piece of shit. Sister's yelling at him, Ibitsu, whatever you say.
Riku?
Yeah, Riku. Her whole deal was very interesting at first. And then after a while, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, she attracts phantoms. Cool, but phantoms attack other people anyway, and they're not, what do they call her, beckoning hand?
Yeah, beckoning hand.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, other people are not those things, and they're attacked by phantoms. So why does her being one matter if other people are being attacked by phantoms? The people around her become attacked more. I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to combine John and Nate's ideas and say, first 5 chapters, I was in. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then I didn't care. And then from chapters 20 to 30, I was like, yo, here we go. I definitely felt that by chapter 25, this guy knew he was getting canceled, so he just started cramming everything in. Of just like, this was going to be my whole plot.
It did kind of feel like that. You're right. And
yeah,
and to
I think
build
it's
off of
because
that,
he knew he was being canceled.
yeah, and to build off of that, it seemed like the last 10 chapters maybe were very rushed. It was just a lot happened way too quickly. There wasn't enough time. There was instances where in one panel they would be doing something, talking about something, and then the next page it would be days later with no explanation of why there was a time gap, or like, we cleaned everything up. Okay, that was a very sudden and harsh jump in time and plot that pulled me out of the story to the point where I sat there and had the thought, that made no sense.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, John.
so, like, Duncan, I'll kind of jump off on that. Like, I do feel like the last I don't know, third was rushed because it felt like with the whole puppet thing, not puppet, but doll thing, I felt like it was really going into a legitimate arc. Like, it was going into something. Now, granted, I was bored the entire time. For some reason, it just didn't catch me. But, like, it felt like it was a big thing for a while. And then just kind of out of nowhere, it was like, time's up, you're done. And then all of a sudden, in the classroom with no people and talismans, you will find this guy. Like, the way that it started.
Yeah, I again, at that point, I feel like he knew he was being canceled. So he finished up the doll master thing, and then he used the rest of the time to just say, like, if he knew he was being canceled, then he wanted to get all the exposition in that he could, just so people could be like, see, look, it wasn't that bad. Hopefully someone else picks him up. Or he didn't know he was being canceled and was ending an arc, like season 1. You know, he was ending season 1, and then the next one was going to pick up the fight against Senju Doji, the little girl phantom who kills beckoning hands, that apparently the doll master worked for. So I mean, like Nate said, they set up a group of villains that's like, we have a group of villains and a group of good guys, and they're gonna clash, and it's gonna be a big deal. They're gonna go hunt them down. It had a lot of like JoJo vibes, JoJo season 3 vibes, where it's like, hey, we all have these different powers and we're gonna hunt down all these bad guys till we get to the big bad guy. It was like Jotaro and Joseph going to hunt down Dio and getting through all the bad guys. I mean, it wasn't nearly as good as JoJo.
Yeah,
that's kind of where my fun fact came in from, because like from the first 10 to 15 chapters, I don't remember where it happened, but like it kind of felt like at one point when Iori started introducing the idea that like he could use the power of any of the phantoms that he's absorbed to this point, I was like, Pokemon. Like, he's caught all these phantoms, and now he can do the thing with the phantoms. And then at some point, like, and yeah, it does kind of seem like JoJo because of stands and stuff. And then at some point, it just kind of turned into like they even mentioned what was it, the genjutsu that they use in Naruto, Tsukuyomi? Is that what it was, or
explain more?
I don't even remember. What
Expand.
happened
when they go to the house, when they go to Iori's house, and it's the house of all the shamans.
Oh, how it's like a
when they
prison for all
yeah, maybe it was
the
Tsukunomi.
demons?
Yeah, I think that was Tsukunomi.
Yeah, but either way, like I felt like, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that got this feeling, but it was just like, it felt like the author kind of took a bunch of ideas from other people and kind of mashed them together. Like
I agree.
I got Pokemon vibes, I got Naruto vibes, I got was it Noragami vibes out of it.
And then the dude with the staff, we get some like Cardcaptor Sakura vibes.
Yeah. See, I got some vibes from different manga, but not those ones specifically. Like I said, mine was more like JoJo, Junji Ito, like a cleansed Junji Ito that was like, oh, look at this body horror, but it's not that scary. Like Junji Ito, you see some of his body horror, and hey, stick around because when Halloween finally comes around, we're gonna read some Junji Ito.
Yeah,
I will buy everyone a copy of Junji Ito, and we will read it together. It is. Oh boy, Nate can attest to it.
Yum yum yum.
Yum yum
Yeah,
yum.
no thanks. So anyway, yeah, this was definitely like a washed out. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't. I couldn't tell you if this could have benefited from any more. Because let's assume that this guy had no idea he was getting canceled, and the final chapter was just supposed to be an end of season 1 kind of thing. I don't think it would have benefited from any more. I think this stopped exactly when it needed to.
I have written down, I called the last 10 chapters the Conceiving Hands arc, because that's what those enemies were called, were the Conceiving Hands, because they had a piece of the big baddie's ability.
That's right.
And I thought that as soon as it was getting into the Conceiving Hand thing, I was like, man, if only we started out with this.
Yeah.
If we
Yes.
cut out that other fluff and we had these battles, the JoJo vibes you got were like, it was the one specific part where they were like, you think you defeated me, but there's a poison flooding the room. Oh no, my leg. Wait, that's just an illusion. It was batshit, and I loved it.
Yes. Yeah, it was absolutely batshit, and I agree. If they would have started with that, and I get, like, you want to establish your main character's powers, but did we really need 20 chapters to establish everyone?
And every chapter
No.
was like a new big bad, and like some weird time jump that didn't make sense.
It definitely felt like this guy had no idea what he actually wanted to write until about chapter 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that leads into like my overall impression with it when it comes to the protagonist. Like I felt like when you asked the question, would this have benefited from any more? I think given double the amount of chapters and time or the effort, he might not have had the foresight, but like the ability to be able to actually plan out and expand on a lot of different things that went on in this manga. So like Iori's powers, like from my side, like how I saw them is like, this is a thing I can do. Also, this is a thing I can do. Also, this is a thing I can do. By the way, I forgot about that. Like,
Can I interject one quick question?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't mean to interrupt, but did anyone ever figure out what the fuck the key was for?
no, it was kind of just a
He has
thing.
He has a key on his wrist, and
Summoning
you're thinking like,
The demons?
oh, it unlocks the world to the door to the Phantom world, but I never see him use it.
It just
He just has
it
it.
kind of dangles, and then the demon comes out.
It might
He
be
does the cool anime pose where it's in like mid like motion towards his palm, but we never actually see him grab it and like use it. It's just there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
It might
does-
be almost
I
like-
spent 30 chapters wondering what the fuck that key's for.
It's just his house key.
it's
It must be. I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean to totally derail you.
No, you're absolutely right, and I kind of already got my point across on that.
Okay. Sorry,
I
Nate. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I think it was supposed to be. Now I know it wasn't explained, but I think it was almost like a focus, kind of like how Kenma's staff has those little like dangly rings that summon the Tengu. Which, by the way, I thought the Tengu were fun.
I like the Tengu.
Love the Tengu. Best part of the whole manga was Tengu.
I really thought they were annoying, but I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, you should, because the Tengu are awesome.
Dude, the
Yeah, the
Tengu are the chows of the Sonic Adventure realm.
Yes, yeah, but I think you're right. I think it was supposed to be a focus, but again, like I just never see him. I don't remember ever seeing him use it. I just remember him like doing the anime pose with it coming towards his hand, and then all of a sudden he's like, "All right, now I have a phantom on my side." Like, okay, that's great. And then like we immediately get told that he has control of the most powerful phantom ever known, but he can't use it because he can't control it. Then why does he have it? Then why does he have it? Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Kill it. Do something else. It doesn't help. Stop using it.
Yeah.
I mean, what you just said kind of builds on what I said earlier about how they don't explicitly explain things, and that it kind of leaves holes in the story that, sure, you could figure out yourself, but it takes away from the quality and continuity of the story.
Yeah. Can I read an excerpt from the Phantom Seer Wikipedia?
Please.
So this is from the plot section. Are you ready? I'm going to read the entire plot according to Wikipedia.
Oh, let's see if make it a game show. Let's see if we get it right, because I'm not sure I know the plot.
Okay, so actually, let's make it a game show. Duncan, we'll start with you. What do you think the plot is? And also, how long do you think this entry is?
Let's see, 30 chapters. Probably like a paragraph. And
Okay.
it probably says something along the lines of like, oh, this guy can control a demon, and he has this girl that helps him out because she can sense demons, and they go kill demons, and there's
Yeah.
like dolls and shit. I guess I don't know.
All right. No, this is supposed to be a plot summary. So, I mean, this guy has a demon and hunts shit. I mean, yeah, that stretch that out to a paragraph.
Yeah.
You'd almost be right.
That's what I would imagine.
John, what do you think? What does the plot say? Also, how long is this plot entry?
All right, I
guess?
think the plot says Iori, a abnormal high school boy, seeks to be a normal boy at the expense of his friends. Will he ever find normalcy? Will he ever become normal and anything but a senseless warrior? What was the second question?
How long do you think this entry is? And I think you just answered that.
3 sentences.
3 sentences.
What was
okay.
the question again?
Oh man, Nate, care to take a different stab at it, or at least figure out how long this entry is?
I was also going to say 3 sentences, but I think it's definitely something along the lines of quiet blonde boy with a demon wants to be normal again.
I've already seen that on another website.
Something I think The Bachelor.
That's a different website. No, okay. So I'm gonna tell you right now, all three of you are wrong on the length.
What?
By the way,
Is it longer?
no, it is 2 sentences.
What?
The plot summary is 2 sentences, and it says, "This story follows Iori Katanagi, a shaman who is very unmotivated to do his job, period. However, upon meeting Riku Aibetsu, he may have a chance to fight a long-lost foe." That's it.
What?
That's the plot. That's the plot summary. 2 sentences, has nothing to do with Phantoms.
I mean,
I don't know if I read the
man.
manga now.
I guess.
Like, is he a detective?
No, he's a shaman. He's a shaman.
I mean-
I don't know what that means.
But like, yeah, he's a shaman. But when you look at the name Phantom Seer, is it like he sees dead people and he's going to solve the mystery of how they were murdered? Like,
That would honestly be better.
Yeah, it would be.
I love-
It'd be the Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. But yeah,
So here's what's funny.
we didn't get that.
Go. So here's
I
what's
wish we
funny.
did.
Shaman has like one of those like hyperlinks in Wikipedia, and if I click on it, it takes me to the no shit real life entry of shamanism. It has nothing to do with anime. It's real life shamanism.
You got to go somewhere else to understand.
Jesus.
Yeah, you have to go somewhere else. Now, granted, that's just the plot summary that Wikipedia puts in, or someone put in. There are character descriptions of each one of the characters we met, and then a little brief history of the publication, original release dates for each of the volumes, which they came out from December to July in Japan, but in the English release date, they all came out August 23rd, 2022. Same day.
Huh.
It was a one-day upload on Viz. They were just like, yeah, we'll put it up.
I guess. I mean...
Yeah,
You want to know a little funny bit of information? This
absolutely.
This wiki I'm on says, countdown, it has been 710 days, 8 hours, 14 minutes, and 43 seconds since the last release of
Oh,
Chapter
no.
30.
Hopefully that never resets.
Look, God forbid there's any actual Phantom Seer fans listening. I'm sorry we're shitting all over your favorite manga, but get better taste.
Yeah, do better.
Man. I mean,
Also,
it's not like
just
you
get
can,
over it. It's not coming back.
Yeah, I was going to
not
say,
coming
it's
back.
not like you can get some extra, canon. You're done.
Didn't hear that there was a movie coming out. Or
No, I don't even know if there's an anime adaptation. I really doubt it, but
There is not. According to this, there is not.
Oh, man.
The only demographic has been shown.
so like
Oh
I want
my
to
God.
I want to cut it some slack. Like I kind of leaned into this earlier, but like I really think it, like from the get go, it was appealing. Like it could have had a lot of potential if they would have taken time. And I don't work in the manga business. I don't understand the Shonen Jump world. Well, no, this wasn't a Shonen Jump manga.
Yes, it
It was
was.
just it was okay. Yeah, all the more reason. If they would have just taken some time to explain things, give some context instead of slapping you in the face with the dick of storytelling that is this manga, like
Yep.
I just like there was so much potential. I wanted to hit at some point the Senjudoji, I think that's how you say it. That
Senjudoji.
yeah, like that whole arc, like when he's going to
So cool.
when he's going to defeat the Sin, or I don't know if it's the Senjudoji or whatever, but like that.
I think that's just her name.
Yeah,
or the Phantom's name.
Senjudoji. Yeah, but like that could have been really, really good, and just like everything else, it came up really underwhelming. Like it was like this could have been this whole like this is like because I didn't know that that's what he wanted to be a normal boy, like that was kind of it was vengeance in the end, which I thought that was appealing.
To me, vengeance is more appealing. Like, there's nothing more annoying to me personally than a protagonist who has special powers who goes, I hate my special powers. I'm going to do everything in my special power to get rid of them. I'm like, why? What the like, I never understand it as a plot point. I don't like it. It never feels natural to me because, yeah, okay, your life is ruined. Now you got powers. Well, figure out how to make your life better. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
With great power comes great responsibility.
Look, I get it. Some people, especially in Japan, think that makes for compelling story, the tragic hero, which, yeah, in certain cases it can, but the whole idea of him, like, I just want to be normal. I'm tired of seeing phantoms. Like, well, guess what, dude? You can't. So deal with it. As far as I know, you can't. There might have been some contrived bullshit that explained it away. But then when his motivation turned to vengeance, I was like, you know what? That makes more sense.
Yeah.
You killed a friend of yours. You want to kill it.
Yeah, that was appealing when it turned to vengeance, because I was like, yeah, this makes a little bit more sense. There's a little bit of context going on into it. And then it turned into a bit of an afterthought. Like, all right, yeah, I wanted vengeance. Like, all right, that's cool. Now there's dolls. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, I think the dolls didn't just appear. I think those were set up decently well. Again, in my opinion, reading through it, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. The doctor was a part of this Senjudoji cult, and then they mentioned the doll, and so they're like, hey, we got a tip off, and they go and find her, like, very easily, like Duncan said. They just kind of jumped to where she is. There was no hunt. It was just, oh, we're here.
Yep.
Hey, we found her. If you knew where she was that easy, why did you never just go get her before? That's my question. But anyway, I digress. I fully stand by what I said earlier, which is I don't think this dude knew what kind of story he wanted to tell till about halfway through.
So I'm looking this up, and the author is Togo Goto, and I can't find that he was an author for much anything else. But the illustrator Kento Matsura is he's done a couple of different things, and honestly, the artwork looks fantastic in all these things I'm finding.
Yeah, I definitely want to stress I never had a problem with the artwork.
No, me neither.
Oh, definitely.
The artwork was awesome. I really loved how everything looked.
Yeah, other than the washed down, like, because this is considered a horror manga, and I'm like, no, it's not. But again, for Weekly Shonen, yes, it is. So anyway, other than that, that's my only complaint. But other than that, the artwork was great. My biggest problem was with the story.
Yeah. I loved the shadow effects. The action scenes were all really honestly very well put together. The monster design was all really cool. Plot just jog shit.
yeah, they
Nate, what?
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna let Nate finish his thought because we jumped on him.
Oh,
Sorry,
no.
Nate.
I think I was pretty done. The only other thing I was going to add is it looks like I'm looking at a couple different pages of this thing that Kento illustrated. It's called Tokyo Shinobi Squad. If we never read it, I would advise people listening to, hey, maybe check that out, because this artist was pretty dope.
Yeah. Hey, support manga artists. Don't always support manga writers.
Yeah, facts.
That's why I respect guys like we're also reading One Piece congruently with a lot of different things right now. But Ishiro Oda does all of his own illustrations and writes the story.
I know.
Now, I'm sure he has people come in and help with the artwork. Like we saw Toriyama with Dragon Ball Super. He wrote the story, but someone else is taking over illustration duties. That is that kind of dynamic where it works. This kind of dynamic just feels like again, the story matches the images happening. It's just the images are way better than the story ended up being.
Agreed. I really like the expressions that Kento put on some of the characters, because the way that the characters looked made a whole lot of sense based on the situations that they were put in.
Yeah, like the blank faces when a character is confused. Like, I really enjoy that as far as like comic relief goes. Like, I'm with you on that. We can't hit it any really harder. Like, the illustration was great to match the mood. It's just how quickly and how confusingly the mood changed.
My only gripe with the illustration was that Riku's character design was very stereotypical, like, female manga character wearing like the short skirt.
Oh my god.
Like schoolgirl uniform, and there was a bunch of shots that were basically upskirts, and like that was a bit cringe, but otherwise the illustration was fantastic.
You know what? That's a really good point, because like I feel like, and I'm not gonna do it, but I feel like if you Googled or even tasked somebody to create something for you, but if you Googled female high school manga character, like Riku would be it.
Be very careful with when you type that in.
Yeah, don't do that unless you're into that sort of thing. But
you shouldn't be.
Yeah, you shouldn't be searching those things. But that's a really good point. She is so basic. Like, at least Iori was like kind of he had vibes to him where it was like, this is this really knowledgeable savant. This guy has some super hidden potential that he needs to untap or tap into. Like, I'm getting all my words mixed up, but
all right, Dan.
But yeah, I felt like Iori had a lot of potential as a character, especially like he was mysterious to start with, and then it just, like everything else, died off.
Yep.
Or never was alive, I guess.
Well, no, it definitely died off, because at first you're like, Riku Aibetsu is having this trouble with ghosts, and she thinks it's this whole thing, and then she hears like, oh yeah, if I go to this room, and he's going to be all alone with talismans on the wall, and I'm like, oh shit, how's he going to help? And then we get right into, like, chapter 1, we get the most powerful phantom brought out, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, where do we go from here?
The tree that says
not much further.
Nope, not much further. We take about 5 more steps and we stop right there, because they already introduced the most powerful thing in the manga in the first chapter, and then they have to come up with ways why he can't use it as a MacGuffin to get out of everything from that point on. And that is, I think, it's awful. It's awful. There's nothing worse than introducing the one thing to beat everything and then retroactively having to come up with reasons why it can't be used all the time, because like if you don't make up those bullshit reasons, it's going to be used all the time. There's no conflict.
Yeah. There wasn't really any progression to it. Like, he held it back the entire time throughout the story. And then at the end, he integrated it with, like, I don't know, I guess, which is like a hybrid. I'm trying to think of the word for it. I'm going to make another Naruto reference here. What's the thing called when Sasuke has the body and stuff?
I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge.
Shit. All right, well...
what's Naruto?
Well, manga fans are screaming right now thinking, it's the thing, but whatever.
It's that thing.
The thing. The Sasuke and the
is
body.
Is Sasuke
thing.
the one with the blonde hair and goggles?
Correct.
Is he the pink-haired one?
Is he the chick?
The pink-haired transsexual.
To some people, yes.
Yeah, for some people.
I wanted to bring up a couple things that I felt like just showed that it was rushed. Well, one thing that showed that it was rushed, but also a couple things that I did enjoy seeing. So I don't remember what chapter it was. I took screenshots of it just because I was entertained by it. But there's a lot of inconsistencies in this manga that we saw. And I know...
If we look at John's phone, it's just all screenshots of upskirts of Riku.
No, see, upskirts, or Riku was so underwhelming.
Ah, yes, the character upskirt.
Yeah, upskirts, she was great.
We all love upskirt.
No, so
Hey.
like this was like this breakthrough moment for Iori, and in the panel it shows him like starting to be kind of consumed on his face, and I just wanted to highlight that they forgot some text on this page, and
Oh.
yeah, so it says, "I told you, ... I am ... Senju," and then it says, "Exercise you," and that's it.
Yep.
Is there no other text anywhere else on the page?
No, I looked to the right, I looked to the left, and there was nothing else. It was just, "I told you, I am Senju, exercise you."
Was it one of those like centerfolds?
No, it wasn't a centerfold. Like, I opened it up both ways, and I was like, something doesn't make sense here. And it...
Okay, yeah. I remember the part you're talking about, but I don't remember having that hiccup. But maybe my brain was like, there's no fucking way there's not text there that explains this.
Like, I got the vibe of it, but I was like, there's something missing here. Like, there was nothing else to it. And anybody that's not looking at that might not be a good example, but like, I feel like there was more times when something like that happened where something was just completely overlooked. There might not have been much quality control going on to this. I'm not exactly sure. And the last thing I wanted to point out is, does anybody remember Robert?
Robert?
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck is Robert?
Who the fuck, Robert?
So Robert was the doll that was, he had a design of Chucky.
Oh, the Chucky doll.
Yeah, the Chucky doll. His name was Robert, and that's about as far as it goes. He says,
was that,
"Hi,
that was
I'm
in the
Robert."
lead up- That was in the lead up to the Doll Master, and it made you think like, "Oh, that's gonna be part of it," and then it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just really enjoyed that Robert existed. So that's my takeaway from this manga.
My takeaway from this manga is just like I've said twice now. This dude had no idea what he was gonna be writing about. But now, after hearing that, probably all the way up until chapter 18.
I do want to say that my main takeaway is that I loved the artwork. I hated reading it, but I just couldn't. Okay, to put it in perspective for everybody, I was in a sophomore level materials class, bored out of my mind, and started reading a couple chapters from the manga. I was in like 10 or 15, somewhere in that range, and started paying more attention to my lecture because I was so bored with the manga.
That's not good. Though, in similar fashion, I was having trouble falling asleep one night, so I pulled up my phone. I'm like, oh, I'll try and get some reading done. And I got 2 chapters through, and I fell asleep with my phone.
That sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And, like, I, turned the phone off and went to bed after I realized it. But, yeah, I just, I don't know. This is yet another episode, for those of us who remember Yu-Gi-Oh!, the trauma that was Yu-Gi-Oh!, where I just feel like we're going to spend, 40 minutes or so beating a dead horse. And I don't mean to, but, I mean, we got to fill up an hour. It's
We don't have to do anything.
That's true. We don't have to, but, Duncan, that panel you put in the Discord. Nate, that panel you put in Discord. Very good.
Yeah.
Again, just the artwork. If we ever had a place where we could upload things, pictures and stuff, we would.
Oh, we're gonna have a Facebook page.
Yep.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
we'll make sure to make these public, but basically the one that I uploaded, my favorite panel was very close to the end, probably chapter like 28 or 29, and the entire page is blacked out in an outline of these like cross-shaped like mini demons basically.
Yeah, I forget what they were called.
Yeah, with the doll lady in the middle of it, and she's saying some shit, but it just looks dark and demonic, and it really captured the essence of what it should be. Not what it is, but what it should be.
Yeah, what it should have been all along. And then Nate, this is a perfect example of body horror. If you want to explain.
Yeah, so it's actually the main antagonist that Iori wants to find is literally crawling out of the body of a person, like out of their mouth. It's just one of those things you gotta see.
And I'm counting 5 sets of fingers, all on different areas of the mouth, expanding her head to disproportionate size, and then I see her in there.
Yeah.
In the mouth. And see that something like that, I'm like, oh my god. That's where I'm like, okay, that's Junji Ito level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Except Junji would probably have like some more tearing around the lips and some crazier gory stuff, but that's where I definitely get the Junji Ito vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much looking forward to actually getting into that. The artwork was the shining light of this manga. I do want to preface that when as anyone who remembers will remember, it's funny how that happens. I suggested this one on a whim because it was short. I just went through Viz and was like, what's a short manga? I don't know why I was expecting just a 30-chapter manga to be like good. Obviously.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, well, maybe it's still ongoing. I don't know. Like, I had nothing. We had no information on what it was. So this was a disappointing thing. But at least we can say, like, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh!, where some of us had, like, some expectations going in, we had no expectations of this. Right? I mean,
that's true.
And we still don't.
Well, no, because there's not going to be any more. You can't expect the unexpected.
I also don't dislike that we're reading kind of random, not great mangas, because it gives me, personally, a better appreciation for things like One Piece that we're reading right now, because One Piece is great.
Yeah, or Hunter x Hunter, which we did an episode on.
Yeah.
I agree. It's going to definitely, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Phantom Seer exist so we can appreciate things like One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, any others we decide.
Dragon Ball,
get around to it.
Yeah.
Z and Super or Naruto. There's
the actual good stuff.
Well, those are just the easy ones to point out, but we could come across one that none of us have ever had any exposure to and go, wow, that was actually a good one.
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Don't know what that is.
Sasuke's power was Susanoo.
That's it. That was it. Susanoo.
Jesus.
Okay, hey, bring it back around. All right, it all connects.
I almost feel like we're at final thoughts.
Yeah.
We are. Ooh, this is gonna be a shorty.
That's okay.
That's all right.
There's no sense in making everyone beat a dead horse like we did with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Very true.
We stretched that one out. Admittedly, it's not the best, but we beat so many dead horses, and then we brought our dead horses to beat this dead horse.
Yep.
So let me hear your final dead horses, starting with Duncan. And, I was going to try and throw in an extra question. And I think what it's going to be is final thoughts and what would you have changed? If you could change one thing, what would you have changed in this 30 episodes, 30 chapters?
All right, so I'm ready. Final thoughts. Artwork, A+. Love the artwork. Storytelling, like D-. At best. Possibly failing, but I don't want to say it was a complete failure, because it did make me interested enough to read through the entire thing at the very end. Maybe the last 5 to 10 chapters were worth a damn. Everything else, meh. And if I could change one thing, I would probably change a lot of
Let me preface real quick. If you could change one thing in these 30 chapters, doesn't have to make it better. Just if you could change one thing that would make it better for you. Like, it doesn't have to be a inherently good thing that you change? I just want to try and have some fun with it.
I think I would probably make the Tengu more important because I really liked them. They were fun. I would have made them probably like the second main character. They're just
Make
they
the
seemed
Tengu
like they
kill
had
the pro tag.
Kill the pro tag, keep the Tengu.
Yeah, that's it. Have the Tengu kill the pro tag, new pro tag.
Tengu, ten tag. All right, John. Final thought, and if you could change one thing, doesn't have to make it inherently better, but if you could change one thing.
Since we're speaking about beating a dead horse, I don't want to hit too much on the illustration. The illustration was great. That's what kept me in it for as long as I was in it. All of it. I guess technically because I'm forced to do this. No, but the story had a lot of potential. I thought that with more expansion, it could have done a lot. Like there was potential there from the first 5 chapters. What could we have learned about the main characters, the main 3 characters in the first 5 chapters? Like where could we have gone? Like this could have easily extended to be a 150 chapter manga, and it probably would have had some justice. So final thoughts on that. Like I think if they redid this manga, if they redid it, gave it time, and then actually expanded on what makes these characters tick and how their abilities are applied, I think that would be the best. Overall, didn't like it. But yeah, if I could change one thing, it would be the length. The length, and with the effort to expand on powers and character backgrounds, because I just felt even at this point, and we just read it recently, I don't exactly know anything about the characters. So that's all.
Fair point.
That's fair.
Fair point. I agree. Nate, final thought, and if you could change one thing.
I am going to combine both of those because I learned something from reading this, and that is in the beginning of this. What?
I was like, you can't learn anything by reading.
Oh, I just did. Yeah, I learned what not to do. So honestly, I think if we had the antagonist in the beginning with a solid reason for why the protagonist is against this person and what the antagonist has done, maybe if they had their whole team, if those conceiving hands were decently early on, or just found out about after chapter 5, oh, there's more than just the main baddie. I think if that a good antagonist group is in the beginning, I would have been hooked. I think that's it. That's what I would have changed, and that's what I want.
So what you're saying is that the Tengu should have been the main characters.
Tengu main characters, and they need to chew on the antagonist.
Chew on antagonist. So yeah, and then my final thoughts. Disappointing. Definitely disappointed. I definitely saw the potential early, and then it went away, and then I saw the potential again right at the very end. The first 5 and the final 5. I'm going to cut it down to those 10 chapters and say, damn, if we could take those 10 and then rework the middle to make it a little bit better, and like Nate said, change the order of things, introduce the conceiving hands and Senju Doji first, and then introduce all our protagonists, hey, that probably would have worked. Could have used more Tengu.
Yeah, more Tengu for sure.
Yeah, if I could have changed anything, if I could change one thing about this manga, I would make every character a Tengu, and we'll just call it Tengu Seer. And it would be a much better manga.
It'd be like everyone's a little Karibo from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, exactly. How awesome would it be to watch Karibo play a card game? How awesome would it be for Tengu to fight phantoms together?
I would buy one of the mangas if it was literally just a Tengu with a different facial expression on every page. That's it.
Just a Tengu side story.
Yeah, there
with
we
all
go.
the
God.
tiny little panels that are kind of hard to see.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, all right, boys. Well, hey, so we sufficiently have kicked this dead horse. I think we're done. I think we're done here. Duncan, you said you might have something next for us to read.
After Yu-Gi-Oh! And this, we gotta go back to Hunter x Hunter. It's actually something pretty decent. So,
Yeah.
I believe we left off at chapter 22, and the next arc ends around 43.
Correct.
I want to say.
Okay.
So, Hunter x Hunter to chapter 43, and we'll finally get a break. Something decent that we know is going to be pretty good with our history so far.
Okay. All right. I agree. I agree with it.
Can't wait for that because we're going to wrap up the Hunter exam. So can't wait to see how you guys feel about that.
Oh
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah, I'm very excited to wrap those up. Cause
especially because I've already read all of that.
I was to say, for those of us who stopped when we were supposed to, we left off on the rock paper scissors cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, we gotta finish it. It's so good.
yeah, so yeah, I agree. I agree. We should get through the Hunter exams, and yeah, so that's where we'll be. So next week, upload wise, will be a One Piece episode again. Our next iteration of One Piece, and then the week after that, we're going back to Hunter x Hunter. So that's our schedule. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We're so sorry if you're a Phantom Seer fan, but maybe consider being a Tengu Seer fan instead. And until next time, everyone, thank you all so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.